My claim was women have always been treated unfairly in Afghanistan. After researching, I changed it to Afghan women had significant rights in educational and professional opportunities before the Taliban took over. It is said Afghanistan is one of the most challenging places in the world to be a woman. Some basic information. More women die in childbirth than any place in the world. An estimated 15,000 women die each year from pregnancy-related causes, and only 15% of childbirths are overseen by a doctor. 9 out of 10 women are illiterate, so very few women get economic opportunities, so most are confined to housework. Only 40% of girls attend elementary school, and only 1 in 20 girls go to school beyond 6th grade. During the Taliban, the education of girls was banned in 90% of the country. On average, women have more than 5 children if they survive childbirth, and yet 1 out of 10 children die before their 5th birthday. The life expectancy of Afghan women is only 44, which is one of the lowest in the world. Child marriage. More than 50% of Afghan girls are married or engaged by the age of 10. Almost 60% are married by age 16, usually to men far older than them, sometimes men in their 60s. It is said 80% of marriages in poor rural areas are arranged or forced. Some girls meet their husbands for the first time at their wedding. Many girls are forced into marriage by their families, and others are bartered into marriage to repay a debt or resolve a dispute. Because of poverty, many families get their daughters married to avoid caring for them. Married girls have babies while still young teenagers, which increases health problems and risking death for themselves and their children. Because the risk of death during pregnancy and childbirth for girls under the age of 14 is 5 times higher than for adult women. Young wives have a low status in the family and are more likely to be abused by their husbands or their in-laws. During the rule of the Taliban from 1996 to 2001, women were treated worse than during any other leadership in the history of Afghanistan. Under the Taliban, there was a complete ban of women's work outside the home, complete ban on women's activity outside the home, unless accompanied by a ram, which is a close male relative. There's a ban on women dealing with male shopkeepers or getting treated by male doctors. Ban on women studying at school, university, or any other educational institutions. There's a requirement that women wear a long veil that covers them from head to toe. Whipping, beating, and verbal abuse to women who don't dress in accordance to the Taliban's rules, and public stoning of women accused of having sex outside their marriage, and also a ban on cosmetics. There's more rules for the Taliban, but I'm not going to read all those because it'll take up too much time. During the Taliban, women who were doctors and teachers suddenly were forced to become beggars and even prostitutes in order to feed their family during the rule of the Taliban. Before the Taliban, Afghan women in rural areas always worked alongside men. In the capital, women wore Western dress, served on parliament, and worked in a variety of professions, including medicine, engineering, architecture, media, and law. During the many years of war, as men went missing, were killed, or became disabled, the survival of the family came to depend on women's income. Before the Taliban's ban on female employment, 70% of teachers in Kabul were women, 50% of civil servants and college students were women, and 40% of doctors were women. Life after the Taliban. Since the fall of the Taliban in late 2001, women have gained political rights. The recently adopted Afghan constitution states that the citizens of Afghanistan, whether man or woman, have equal rights and duties before the law. Women have even been appointed to prominent positions in the government. While the Afghan government and international community are working for women's rights, since most women are illiterate, they are not involved in the process. Girls' education has improved. Since 2002, the number of girls attending school has increased by over 30%. Child marriage is more difficult. The Afghan government has changed the legal age for marriage from 16 to 17. Women can be employed, but only if they have permission from male relatives. But with high unemployment rates, some feel employing women takes jobs from men. Self-mutilation, which is setting oneself on fire, has decreased from 350 cases per year to 70 cases per year. Fewer women die during pregnancy or childbirth. The rate has gone down from 9% to 2%, thanks to improvement in infrastructure, education, and healthcare. Connecting to the book, Soraya points out the double standard in Afghanistan way of life and how women are held to a different standard than what Afghan men are. And there are other points in the book where it touches on how strict the rules and culture are on Afghan women.
Good job.
I chose the war in Afghanistan. The claim was not only does the war affect Afghanistan and its soldiers, but it affects everyone around it. Okay, the war started on April 27th, 1978, and it's still going on today. The first part of the war started when the People's Democratic Party of Afghanistan took power in a military coup.
Coup.
Coup? Is it coup?
Coup.
Got it. Okay, the communist regime survived until the fall of Kabul in 1992. After the September 11th attacks in the U.S., NATO intervened in Afghanistan under Operation Enduring Freedom. Their goal was to defeat Al-Qaeda and remove the Taliban. My last claim was not only does the war affect Afghanistan along with the people living there, but also other countries. And that's it.